Welcome friends to the Beaver Dam, and we are going to be talking Affinity today. This is one of the most important mechanics in the game that I feel like is a little overlooked in the early game for holding your hand and walking you through it, and I want to talk about it a bit. We're going to be going over some general information about it, but most importantly, how vitally important Void is in your roster. So, before we get started, if you want to get started in Raid Shadow Legends, make sure you check out that link down below. It's going to get you started with all kinds of beautiful people like the wonderful Wrecker Drath as well as Ugo. They are fantastic characters, as I've mentioned many times. Go check out my dungeon, my clan boss guide if you want to, see where I've been using them. Very, very helpful in a lot of different cases for the early game and even into the mid and late game. But we're going to jump into this whole idea of affinity. So you can see here with Ugo, we have this spirit affinity. There's, or not spirit affinity, magic affinity. My bad. You got spirit affinity, and then you got force affinity. So these are the three affinities, and you got to think of it as a rock, paper, scissors match between the three affinities. If we go into a battle real quick, you can see here the rock, paper, scissors. So spirit beats force, force beats magic, magic beats spirit. Now, what does this mean? It essentially means that if you're using a spirit character against a force character, you're going to be able to critically hit easier. You're going to be able to, just apply debuffs easier, that type of thing. Now, if you're a force champion, you're going against spirit, you need to keep in mind at all times you have a 35% chance of getting a weak hit. What a weak hit means is you're going to deal significantly less damage, but you're also not going to be able to apply a single debuff using that ability. And so it's very important to know about this just for the sake of being able to apply debuffs, because when Kale doesn't apply debuffs with his poison, it significantly hurts his damage in clan bosses. It significantly hurts his damage in general. His poison is so helpful against bosses. And so when he's weak against a boss, you're just kind of screwed. And so knowing about this affinity is super helpful. And when you go into a battle, you can very easily see who's what affinity just by the markers that are next to people. So if we turn it off auto real quick, you can see here, oh, we got, a couple people who are not an affinity that's bad or good for me. So they're just going to be, solid normal. Just check my crit chance and, check my stats and that type of thing, and we'll be able to apply things. But then this one right here is going to be an affinity that does not match up with me, that I'm weak to. So I have a lower chance of, applying debuffs. I also have, a 35% chance of being able to, hit with almost no damage and, just doing crap, which is really unfortunate. And so, we could have all of the crit chance in the world, but against this character, there's still a 35% chance that we'll hit a weak hit and just, be sad. So you can very easily see by the green arrow going up or the yellow arrow, which yellow arrow means that they're of an affinity that you're not weak or strong against. And then you've got your, red. Now, here's the thing though. Very, very important to keep in mind is Void. If you look at this little, love triangle, the love triangle circles one thing, and that is Void. Now, Void are one of the hardest things to get in this game. They're just not common champions for you to get. You're gonna have to open up Void shards to get them. And so, to get a Void champion is super, super helpful. You do not want to avoid it. I think I'm funny. I'm sorry. And these Void champions are super, super necessary because they dwell outside of the pie. And because they dwell outside of the pie, it allows us to be able to not be weak or strong versus anything. So we go into that same battle, and we're not going to have a specific advantage where we have a higher crit chance or anything like that, but that doesn't matter because we can never be weak against something. We'll always apply our debuffs if we have the specific chance and that type of thing. We're never going to hit those weak hits that are going to make it so we can't use our abilities. That are, we're never going to have a problem where we're outgunned, where they deal extra damage to us. There's never going to be any of that stuff because you dwell outside of the wonderful love triangle triangle. And so, you know, you can basically be able to, you know, utilize your characters much better just because they're void. And so, you know, void's going to be hard for you to get. I'm going to be honest. It is going to be hard for you to get. It is not a common character to pick up in the early game. And so it's going to take you a while to get some void teams going. But as time goes on, void can be some of the best things for like clan bosses and that type of stuff. And I'll show you exactly why. So I just want to show you going into the second round, of course, and once again, not a single person we're weak to. But yeah, there's, you know, this is so vitally important in so many different ways, because, like, you know, I had one boss that I was going up against in the campaign who I kept losing to because Kale was weak to their affinity, and so it was causing a major issue, and it was the last one I had to 3-star in brutal difficulty. But even then, you look at your dungeons and you like, you know, everything has an affinity, and, you know, playing around with that affinity is going to be helpful. And there's also things like Iron Twins Fortress where the affinity changes, and so some days you'll do better because of the stuff that you have in your account, some days you'll do worse. But if you have void, then it's unavoidable that you will succeed. You know, sorry, I'm gonna keep making those jokes. I'm going to. I've latched onto a joke I enjoy, and now I can't avoid it. If I keep this going, I might, you know, void my sponsorship. Speaking of sponsorship, if you guys are enjoying this video and you want to help support the channel, go hit that link down below. It'll get you a good start to this game. If you're starting a second account, if you are a new player, it's the best way to start the game is to use a promo link from a content creator. So go check that out down below. But yeah, going in, you know, you got Demon Lord, you know, he's void right here. If I attack him, he might change from void to other affinities. You know, we look at Chimera, and Chimera is like constantly changing their affinity. And so like having void is super helpful because there's so many places in the game where you're just kind of like locked out just because you're weak, and so you immediately have like you're 1/3 worse than every other champion against that thing. And so those void champions are super helpful. Now, where is he? Bellower, the one that we were talking about. I do want to take a second and say this magnificent beast can be yours for free. This is one of my favorite promo codes in the game. If you go over here to promo codes and you type in, if I can type, welcome gift. I swear I can type. I swear, guys, I can type. If you type in welcome gift, this will get you Bellower, which is a void champion. Plus, all of his attacks are, I don't know if you noticed while I was doing that, but Bellower, all of his attacks are all AoEs. Attack all enemies, attack all enemies, attack all enemies. And so it's actually super helpful for the campaign and other things like, you know, the spider, because you've got these huge waves of spiders that spawn in every time an ally takes a turn. And so Bellower is super helpful in a lot of different places. And so if you want your first void champion, go type in that promo code. It is not a day one promo code. It is a promo code that you can use at any time. So even if you know, haven't you know, you've used your beginner promo code and you did it on your first day, don't feel like you're not going to be able to get Bellower. Go redeem it today. Additionally, with the promo codes, I do want to say this as a quick side note. If you are on iOS, there have been some problems with promo codes in the past, apparently, and so Plarium removed promo codes from the iOS devices, but there is a website that you can type in promo codes and do it, and you'll find it in the top comment, in the pinned comment. I always try to put it there so that way you guys can see it. So go take a look at that link and you should be able to go and, you know, throw the promo code in, because honestly, having just one void champion is going to be a huge boost to your account, because like everything is reliant on affinity. There's so much in here that is reliant on affinity, and especially when it comes to, you know, clan bosses, Doom Tower, and dungeons. Like, it is painful when your debuffs can't land. I cannot tell you how sad it is when I'm like sitting there fighting a affinity that Kale's not a, you know, that Kale's weak to, like in a clan boss, and I'm just like sitting there, I hit poison and it goes weak hit, and I'm like, no, that means none of them applied. I need the poison so bad. Poison is how I do my damage as an early player. So, you know, don't miss out on the greatest secret of, you know, this wonderful love triangle. The affinity is stuff is super important, and having void is going to be, unavoidable. Like it's the only way to succeed in this game. It's unavoidable on your way to the end game. So get those champions. Of course, you can get void shards and you're going to drop void characters. And remember, anything that you spend in this game should always be spent on times where you're going to get more out of it than just what you see here. You want to see those 2 times chance of mythic and legendary before you try for this, or for this one is epic legendary. But additionally, you know, keep an eye out for tournaments and events where you can drop and be able to, you know, use shards to your advantage even more so. There's always a better time to open things in this game. Hopefully this helped you guys. If this is something that helped you, please drop a subscribe. I really appreciate it. It helps out the channel, helps me get out there and get my start into Raid Shadow Legends. And if you want to get your start into Raid Shadow Legends as a new player, or you want to start a new account, you're feeling a little nostalgic and you want to play through the early game again, make sure you hit that link down below as well as the QR code above, whichever one's easier for you. Go and do that. It's going to help you out getting started, giving you the wonderful Rector Drath as well as that Ugo. Both are beautiful. Like, I mean, look at her. She is gorgeous. She is glowing. I love Ugo. Super helpful in so many things. But thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you for giving a damn.